Alright, let's do this. Final episode, chapter thing of Lost Window. Secret of Cape West. Last time, Carl Hyde got knocked out, which was unsurprising, but I'm not sure who it was. There's multiple suspects for me for now, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. I imagine this chapter is going to take another 2 hours to beat, but we'll see how it goes. Chapter 10, December 26th, 1980. I hear my pager beeping somewhere. It keeps beeping as I slowly regain my focus. By the time I'm fully conscious, the beeping stopped, but not the pounding in my head. I find myself lying on the floor for some reason. My body feels like a lead weight, so my limbs are like rubber, no strength. My head's throbbing and my throat's hurting too. As my eyelids slowly open, I am treated to a scene of utter darkness, punctuated by a single point of light. I don't know what the light is, but no sooner do I focus on it than I feel a searing pain in my eyes and I force them shut once more. Tears seep out from beneath my closed eyelids. What was that? Some kind of sleep spray? Can't come up with a better answer, so I try and think back to the moment it happened. Whatever that stuff was, it certainly did what the sprayer wanted. Who the hell did it, though? I tried to stand, but then I realize I'm unable. My hands and feet have been bound. Damn, they got me good. Been tied up with rope. As I try to endure the pain from my eyes and my head, I attempt to lift my eyelids. I manage to focus on a dimly lit room. I regain my sight and manage to get myself into a sitting position. I look around. The light I saw before is the flashlight. Must have dropped when I blacked out. Great, now what? Not sure I'll be going anywhere like this. Oh, wow. Alright. Yeah. This is even tougher than I thought it'd be. Still, if I take this slowly, I think I can get a little mobility. Thought I can open the door or anything. What am I doing? I won't get far unless I can get rid of those ropes. Yeah, I know, man, but not like I have any cutlery or anything. Don't see anything in there. So what happened to Tony? Well, I'm kinda dumbstruck. I guess I could throw down the vase or something, but I doubt it will let me. Oh, that is the solution, alright. There's a vase on top of an unsteady looking table. I think I managed to shake the vase a little. So that is the solution, alright. I slam into the table using my body. Almost. Just a little more. Got it. The shards of broken vase are littering the floor. Right, now to put one of these shards to good use. I stretch one of my fingers out from beneath the rope and snag myself a shard. Come on. I sever the ropes binding me with the shard. Phew, those ropes were cutting off my circulation. Good to have the use of my hands back. I use my newly freed hands to untie my legs. Good. Hobbling around on my ass for the rest of the night wouldn't be my idea of fun. Now I just need to find the Joker who thinks they can get away with this. I'm worried about Tony too. First things first though, I need to get out of this room. Alright, I still have all of my stuff, surprisingly enough. I would have imagined that the key would be gone by now. There's a safe with a dial against the wall. Seems whoever attacked me wasn't able to get the thing open either. Okay, that's good. There's a large filing cabinet next to the wall. The drawers are all locked, so I can't open them. Wouldn't be surprised if the room is locked, but let's see. Looks like there's something on the other side jamming the door shut. Of course. Crap. I'm trapped in here. What the hell am I gonna do now? Well, I would imagine cause a ruckus. Why am I even knocking? The spray must be messing with my head. Not really. I mean, if we can pound on it or something. There must be something around here. Some picture frames have been wrapped up in material and left on this table. Wait, you've seen that before? Some beat up old chairs that are a little lacking in the stability department. Maybe I can use this chair. I'm sure I can put it to good use busting that door open. Wait, you're just gonna throw a chair at it? What? Okay. Right, that door better say its prayers. Okay, I guess. I mean, sure. I don't know. Hold on. Alright. Time to try this chair out on that door. That is a very fucking thin door. Holy shit. Looks like it did the trick. Yeah, you wouldn't get through with a chair like that. Like, you wouldn't be able to get through any fucking doors I know with that kind of chair. Is that like made of balsa wood or something? What the fuck? I stretch my hands through the hole and unbind the rope holding the door shut. Why not just climb out? Huh? Down by my feet is the debris from the broken door. What's that? Something's laying on the floor beside the number plate for room 406. It's a piece of the door with the word manager written on it. So room 406 belongs to the manager, huh? This is getting interesting. Alright. I think it's best just we get out of here. I don't think any other... Oh. Huh. That's... Tony. Hey, Tony. Tony. What? Hey, are you okay? Oh, hi, is that you? Hang in there, don't rub your eyes. Right. My throat and eyes, my throat and my eyes feel like they're on fire. My head, Who did this to you? Wish I could tell you, man. I was going past the elevator and all of a sudden something sprayed into my face. Knocked me out cold. I didn't even feel it when I hit the floor. You were hit with a sleep spray. Just blink a lot. I don't believe this. Son of a... I'm in agony here. Think it's law enforcement grade stuff. You're lucky you've been out for the most of it. Just grin and bear it. You're not dying, you know. A little more compassion would go a long way, man. Yeah, well, it wasn't just you that got taken down, they got me too. Same routine with the sleep spray and everything. What? They got you too? What the hell is this? Just after they left, they sprayed me, knocking me unconscious. I was tied up and locked in room 406. No way! I've only just got myself free and smashed my way out. You don't seem phased. Guess that kind of thing happened all the time back on the force? Kinda, Tony. I wasn't on the SWAT team or anything. How are you feeling now? Don't complain. It's a lot better than just now, that's for sure. Damn. Yeah, I think I'm over the worst of it now. Good to hear. Who the hell would want to do this to us anyway? My guess is somebody who didn't want us closing in on the Scarlet Star. Doesn't exactly tell us much. Yeah, true. Looks like I'm gonna be needing your help with the one more thing then, Tony. Sure, no sweat. We've got to get our heads straight and get back in the game here. I want to know who it is as much as you do. Let's go get him. That's the spirit. Right, I've just remembered. Did anything happen to the safe? Same as when you left. We need to get back there for another look. At a time like the present, let's book it. If anyone tries anything again, let's see them try and sleep away my crowbar. Where's that thing anyway? It's over there on the floor. So that's your little friend, huh? How come they didn't take it and try it out on the safe? Anyway. Right, let's get this thing done. Right. What the hell, man? You really did a number on that door. There's nothing special. Oh, man. What? What's so strange? Nothing. I just think it's very you, that's all. What's very me? What I did to the door was nothing compared to when you're drunk. Some things don't change, huh? That's harsh, man. Right, let's do this. Yeah. Well, here we are. Time to get that safe open, Hyde. Right. Right, let's get busy with this crowbar. Okay, let's do this. Push the bar on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay. There you go. Cool. Got it. Nice one, Hyde. Come on, let's see what's inside. There's an old safe next to the wall. The door has broken off. So, did they find anything? Hold your horses, I'm still checking. Suspense is killing me, man. There's a small square case inside. Case? Better take a look inside it. This is it. Let's get that thing open and take a look at all that. Nothing. Haha, nothing, he says. What the hell we wasted our time for then? Damn thing's empty. That can't be right. Well, I'm not making this up, you know. So where the hell is the Scarlet Scar? Beats me. Talk about disappointing. Oh man, after all that? Yeah, tell me about it. Hey, wait a minute. Take a look at the door. What about it? Well, look at how thick it is. Pretty good security for a safe with nothing in it. Yeah, that's almost unusually thick. I thought we'd be rolling in it by now. Hang on. The door we prized off the safe is lying on the floor. Yeah. The door is thick and the inner portion is covered in rust. There's some sort of opening on the inside of the door. Could it be? What is it? It looks like this thing comes apart. You're right. That'll do. This looks like... What did you find? Tony, there's some kind of book hidden in the gap in the door. What? A book? Nothing shiny and expensive looking then? Unfortunately not, but at least we have something. And we've got you to thank for it. So, what does the book say? Looks like a diary from the manager of Hotel Cape West. Manager's diary? Yeah. It belonged to Michael McGrath, the manager of the hotel. The manager who knew the whereabouts of the Scarlet Star. Maybe we can still find it. So, come on, what's in it? This is what's written inside. Written on December 17th, 1967, after Kathy's funeral. Kathy, I still can't believe you're gone. Whenever I think of life without you, I'm overcome with an intolerable sense of guilt. Guilt because I know the truth, Kathy. I know why you were killed, and it's all because of what happened on that fateful night 12 years ago. If I hadn't shot the safecracker who snuck into my office, if I hadn't taken the Scarlet Star from his dead fingers, then maybe you'd still be alive. Everything is connected to one night that happened 12 years ago. If only I hadn't shot the man who crept into the office to break into the safe, if I had not taken the Scarlet Star from his hands and kept it for myself, perhaps then none of this would have happened. We kept the man's body in the chest freezer for 2 days. Then I had my computer take it to a downtown parking lot and dump it there. The blood-stained room was then converted into a guest room, and it was made off limits from then on. Barely a day goes by when I don't think about what happened that night. When I closed the hotel, my plan was to sever my ties with Condor as well. George said the only way to escape Condor is to completely disappear. Of course, you're well within your right to do so, but remember this. I can overlook certain things while we're friends, but not when we're strangers. But George knew. He knew about the provisions I made in order to start my new life, and he knew that he'd become what had become of the Scarlet Star. I expected some sort of retribution, but Kathy, I never imagined it would result in your life being taken. Now that you've gone, the reasoning behind taking the Scarlet Star has gone too. And George, who took your life, even had the audacity to come to your funeral. Kathy, I know exactly what I have to do. I have no intention of handing the Scarlet Star over to George, and absolutely no intention of forgiving him for what he has done either. You can rest easy, Kathy. You'll be avenged, I promise. A safecracker in this diary. There's no mistaking it. It was my dad. It all happened 25 years ago in this very room. My dad snuck in and stole the Scarlet Star, only to be killed by Michael McGrath. He was killed in this very room. Dad. Hey, are you listening, Hyde? Tony? Snap out of it, man. Does it say where the Scarlet Star is or not? No, it doesn't. So we've got nothing. What now, Hyde? Right now, we need to get out of this room. Yeah, that's a good idea. Tony and I leave room 406, in before the fire door is closed. That won't be fun. Ouch! What is it? My foot hurts. I must have fallen on it funny. Still hurts now. My head's killing me too. What the hell was in that spray? You might as well go back to your room, Tony. But what about the diamond? You need to rest. I'll be sure to come and get you when I need you. Well, okay, man, if you're sure. Tony makes his way back through the hallway. It's my pager. I better get back to my room too. Oh, hey, the door wasn't closed. I mean, that would have been the first thing I did if I had tried to keep them in, but alright. Fine, sure. I'm also surprised that my smashing a fucking door didn't awake any of the other residents. You know, I would have imagined that it's pretty loud. But whatever. Let's just get to the phone. Phone. Time to give Rachel a call. Right, Crown, how may I help you? Rachel, it's me. Is everything okay, Kyle? I've been trying to reach you for ages. Yeah, I got caught up in something. Oh? It's fine now, don't worry about it. Well, okay, if you're sure. What did you want me for, anyway? I'll pass you over to Ed. It's me. I found out something about Frank Raver. He was heading up a Condor investigation 25 years ago, was taken off the case. I already got that out of him. Seems he blames you, Spec, for having him taken out of the action. He's been roaming around in this building looking for a proof to link Spec and Niall. He has he? Also, I found Michael McGrath's diary from 13 years ago on the 4th floor. In it, he says he shot a certain safecracker in this building 25 years ago in 1955. What? There's more. The person who killed Kathy McGrath 13 years ago was the husband of the current owner, none other than George Patrice. That's some pretty big reveals you've made there, Hyde. It certainly answers a few questions, but it seems I got a bit sloppy too. Just a little while ago, I was rendered unconscious and tied up. What the hell happened? I was investigating the 4th floor and somebody sprayed me with sleep spray. That's pretty serious. Seems you managed to get yourself out of it, though. Yeah, just about. My head's still killing me, though. Seems there's somebody in this place who doesn't want me to want the 4th floor investigated. Got any ideas who could have done this to you? Yeah, I got a pretty good idea. What's your next move? Let's just say that person and I are gonna have a little talk. What's your back, Hyde? Sure. Okay, time to go and get some answers. Okay, the guide says do not confront Frank at this point. If you do, you'll go through this long conversation, questioning and search that will ultimately lead to a game over. Nice game, thanks. When you get the game over screen, choose retry and it will bring you back to just after you got off the phone with Ed and Rachel, then continue below. Alright. Yeah, Frank was one of my suspects, but I wasn't entirely sure. I suspect it could have been Mags as well. But alright. Though she wouldn't have been aware of our movements as much, so yeah, she's less like him, Frank. Who is it? I hear Mag's voice from inside the room. It's Kyle Hyde. Oh, Mr. Hyde. Why so surprised? I'm not surprised. If you say so, now open the door. I got something I need to talk to you about. Now's not really a good time. I don't want to see anyone at the moment. Don't want to see anyone? What's wrong? Was it something I said? Please don't misunderstand, Mr. Hyde. I know what you did, all of it. Now open this damn door. No, I won't. I have no intention of letting you into my room ever again. I've also made certain discoveries. I know you snuck in here and stole the key, for example. What? Of all the things to take, and to think you of all people took it. I must have been a fool to ever think I could trust you. Mrs. Patrice, just go, will you? Huh? Frank. What are you doing here? I just came to see Mags. So you spoke to her, yes? Not exactly. She wouldn't let me in. She told me she knew I'd been inside her room. Interesting. How so? She called me not long ago to talk about you. I think she may be under the assumption you're in league with Niall. And she may be basing these assumptions on the fact that you took the Condor key. She said that only a person who knew the significance of the key would take it. What kind of logic is that? I mean, if I see a key, I'm gonna nag it. Frank, why did Mags want to talk to you about me? Perhaps because she knows I used to be a detective. She clearly trusts me. That's not what I asked. No? Why was it me she wanted to talk about? I thought I made myself clear that moment ago. She believes that you are working for Niall as you stole the key. But it doesn't make any sense. How did you come to know that I took the thing in the first place? Are you absolutely sure you didn't drop me in when it's drop me in it when you spoke to her? You know, just politely told her that I'd been snooping around in her room. You watch your tongue. I told her nothing of the sort. Yeah, that's suspicious. What's the key's significance? How should I know? After all, you know far more about the damn key than I do. And you've been spending more time on the 4th floor than anyone. Did you find anything that looked like the key could be used up there? Not yet. I'm still only halfway through my investigation. I didn't get a chance to finish it because I was attacked. You were what? Yeah, I let my guard down for a second. They hit me with a sleeve spray, tied me up and locked the door. I got myself out, but I never caught a glimpse of the attacker's face. Who would attempt something like that? I guess it's somebody who got jittery at the thought of me being on the 4th floor, and they're willing to do just about anything to keep their secrets hidden. Mr. Hyde, you don't think it could be... Right, there's only one person it could be. If what you told me is true and she thinks I'm working for Nile, I'm sure of it. Why didn't I realize it sooner? Indeed. Oh dear. What is it? I may have made a terrible mistake, Mr. Hyde. A mistake? About what? When you told me it was Michael McGrath's son, of all people, that sent you the order to go searching for the Scarlet Star, that's when I chose to hint that Michael McGrath kept his secrets hidden somewhere, like in a diary. I thought this was a chance to utilize your expertise in assisting me in finding evidence to expose Hugh Speck and his corruption. However, this may have caused Mrs. Patrice to question her trust in you. It seems I didn't think this through properly. Come on, Frank, don't flatter yourself. What? You think I was just doing what I was told? I wanted to look around the building and that's exactly what I did. The reason I did it was to uncover the truth of 25 years ago. Simple as that. The truth of 25 years ago? Do you mean to tell me that you're not looking for the Scarlet Star? No, I'll find it alright, but only because it'll be instrumental in uncovering the truth I'm looking for. What are you so keen on finding out about 25 years ago, Mr. Hyde? I want to know about what went on in the manager's office, about the safecracker's death. What? You got something to say? No, it's nothing. Yeah, well, your face is telling me a different story. If you've got something to say, now will be the time to say it. I'm feeling a little tired, Mr. Hyde. I think I'll head back to my room now. Not so fast, Frank. Are you implying I'm running away? If you're keen on hearing more about 25 years ago, feel free to join me in my room. Frank finishes speaking and heads upstairs. Yeah, we dropped by that it was the manager's office. I think we shouldn't have said that. Anyway, his face went wider than in mimes when I mentioned my dad. Or that. So Frank's going to tell me about what happened 25 years ago, is he? Wonder what he knows. Alright. Let's go back up to Frank, I guess. Oh. 302. Mr. Hyde? Well, here I am. Now talk. Of course. Please come in. So this is where Frank holds himself up. Nice trench coat, buddy. Nice flask as well. Can I offer you a drink? Save it for a real guest. I'm just here to hear what you have to say. Well, I intend to have a drink, so please just join me. Frank heads in the direction of the kitchen. Sydney from the cafe kindly gave me some coffee not long ago. Would you care for some? Well, in that case. This won't take long. Please wait here. Right now, after being fucking knocked out, I'm kind of paranoid about drinking or eating anything at all from people I don't really trust. Looks like a family photo. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Frank places 2 cups of coffee on the table. That smells pretty good. Now that I think about it, you're the only person who's been in here and had a coffee with me. What about your family? My wife passed away 10 years ago after a lengthy battle against illness. I have 2 children, but we haven't met in years. How do they feel about you trying to restore your name with the LAPD? About trying to find clues to expose who you spec for the last 25 years? I've never spoken to them about it. They know nothing. Why not? No sense in keeping the problemology yourself. I'm sure they'd support you. After all, when Hugh Speck had you removed from your post, they had to support you then. Don't you think they have a right to know? Don't you dare try to tell me about how to treat my family. No offense, but if I had a dad like you, I don't think I could stand it. Just my 2 cents, though. You clearly don't understand at all, Mr. Hyde. I didn't leave my family in the dark all this time just for the sake of my own pride. There's more to it than that. 25 years ago, during the Condor case, my name wasn't the only thing lost. The mess that Hugh Speck caused also resulted in someone's death. Whose? The same man you've been looking into, the safecracker. What? So, Mr. Hyde, would you care to tell me how you came to know about that man? Who told you about him? Well, who told you? Tell me. Well, yeah. Michael McGraw's son. He told me about a man who crept into the manager's office and... I see. I think it's about time you talk straight with me, Frank. I want you to tell me about the safecracker who was killed here 25 years ago. Tell me everything you know. Come on, Frank, you just told me. You said this person had gotten involved in the case you were working on. Tell me. Right. Did you help him get in? Yes, I did. So you and this safecracker knew each other beforehand, then? No, we didn't. Gregory was there thanks to the information he got from a contact I often use. Gregory? Who's Gregory? That's the name his associate used for him, at least. I seriously doubt it was his real name, just something he used while working. Gregory was a safecracker who'd never been arrested and was well known in the field. He was also knowledgeable on the Condor. I figured I could use a person like that to assist me in my plans. We had an agreement, and I'm the one who got him into the hotel. However, I intended to catch Condor by fair means or foul. That was my plan. But Hugh Speck put an end to all that. How did Hugh Speck put an end to your plan? What did he do? Well, he... Tell me the whole story. He did something beyond words. Right. Let me guess. Hugh Speck told Condor about your plan. That's right. And that was also why Gregory was silenced. That night, while I was waiting for word from Gregory, that's when it happened to me, too. Frank. What? Enough beating around the bush. Excuse me? I need you to tell me exactly what you were planning to do 25 years ago. All of it. What do you mean? I thought I made myself clear from the start. What I need to know is precisely what happened with the safecracker 25 years ago. You know the truth behind the death that occurred that night, and you're gonna tell me. You win, Mr. Hyde. I'll tell you what you need to know. But on one condition. I'm listening. If you really want to hear the whole truth, you'll have to make me talk. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Well, I would have thought an ex-detective like yourself would have known. It's time you demonstrated to me exactly how much you want to hear the truth. If you expect to get anything out of me, you're going to have to work for it. If you choose your questions well, I'll talk. I'll tell you everything you want to know. If you aren't able to ask the right questions, our little chat stops here. You've got yourself a deal. What kind of agreement did you have with Gregory? Mr. Hyde, I hardly think that's a fitting question at this point. You clearly know nothing. Huh? Mr. Hyde, I'm sure I told you at the start, but you should be choosing your questions carefully. As I understood it, you wanted to know what happened to the safecracker 25 years ago. If you're intent on asking about the other matters instead, then I suggest you leave right away. Wow, thanks, game. Ah, great. How far back is this gonna restart me from? I really love when, you know, throughout the whole game up until this point, you could just willy-nilly pick your questions. And now suddenly you can't. Cool. Great, time to skip through this again. Shooby dooby doop doop doop. Christ, I'm getting hungry. After this is over, I'm gonna head to the city and get myself a good meal. Hold on. Alright. Let's not mess up this time. Can I save? Actually, no, I can't. What was your plan 25 years ago? Okay, Frank, let's start with this. What was your plan from 25 years ago to catch Condor? Well, I decided there was only one way to bring Condor to justice, and that was to catch them in the act. Skilled as the Condor group was in conducting systematic jewelry thefts, they were also adept in turning their acquisitions into near untraceable cash. But I found out from a staff member that Hotel Cape West was being used to sell the stolen wares on, and that the jewels were being kept in a safe in the manager's office. If I could positively identify that the jewels being stored there were that what Condor stole, I would have all the proof I needed to drive the final nail into Condor's coffin. So that's why you enlisted Gregory's help to crack the safe. You wanted him to make his way into the manager's office and remove the jewels, right? Precisely. The plan was to have him break into the safe, extract the contents, and send me a signal. Then the police would arrive at the office and confiscate what he extracted. Well, that was what we planned, at least. What kind of signal had you decided he should send you? We planned to use the window. The window? Yes. He was to enter the manager's office, open the safe, and extract the contents. Once he got the jewels, he was to go to the window and use his flashlight. This would let me know that things had gone according to plan. The police that had been standing by could then raid the premises. The problem was that something went wrong with the signal we'd agreed upon. Gregory just disappeared, so he never went into the building. Okay, next question. What went wrong? Well, you're telling me he never returned the signal you were waiting for, right? No, I believe he sent it, but... But what? You must understand, Mr. Hyde. There are things I cannot discuss beyond this point. Why the hell not? Because they concern the promise that connects me and Gregory. Indeed, if that promise had been kept as planned, he would never have needed to die. I regret what happened to him. I doubt I'll ever outlive that regret. Mr. Hyde, I think I've said enough. I couldn't possibly discuss this any further with you. There's only one person I can imagine telling this whole story to. And that person is a relative of Gregory. Well, lucky for you. Right. What kind of agreement did you have with Gregory? He was intending to leave the world of crime behind him and start afresh. But he wasn't able to break his ties with his old acquaintances. So I made him a promise. If he lent his talents to assisting me with the investigation, I would make certain incidents from his past go away. And the police force would ensure that all ties he had to his past were severed. And did he bite and agree to your proposal? Not at first. He seemed to be somewhat against the idea. In order to gain his trust, I needed to take a different approach. As an act of good faith, I gave him something he'd find difficult to refuse. What was it? I handed him the keys to a new car. It would serve as a kind of advance payment. What? There's no need to act so surprised. It was commonplace in operations like this. It's the sort of thing we did back then for people who assisted us. What happened to you? Mr. Hyde? What the fuck? Right, okay. I don't see how that has anything to do with what you want to hear about. Frank, what if I were to bring a member of Gregory's family here? Would you be willing to tell them everything? Naturally. But how on earth would you... You leave that to me. Oh? Don't go anywhere. I'll be back as soon as I can. Okay, so we have to go get the car keys, I guess. Again, this feels kind of like weird filler, because if the game had just let me pick the keys up earlier, which seems like a reasonable thing to want to do, then I wouldn't have had to go back and go back up again, just wasting my time. Anyway, I'm glad Kyle is smart enough to know that he wouldn't just believe him right away, so he gets evidence for it. That's good. .302 again. Sorry to have kept you waiting.
So where's the member of Gregory's family, Mr. Hyde?
Right here, me.
What?
Got something you need to see. Here.
This is...
Yeah, this is the same car key that you gave to Gregory 25 years ago. It was discovered on the body of a man in that downtown parking lot not long afterwards. This is one of the items my dad left me.
What did you just say?
Gregory's real name was Chris Hyde. 25 years ago, after deciding to wash his hands of crime, he left the house on his final job. 3 days later, he still hadn't returned home to his family. The police were investigating the murder at one point, but they quickly broke it off. The case remains unsolved to this day. Frank, I'm Chris's son, and that's why I have the right to hear what you've got to say. You're gonna tell me all about the promise you made to my father, and exactly what happened at the end. You're gonna tell me everything.
To get the proof we needed to expose Condor, I made Gregory a promise 25 years ago. From his point of view, this job posed considerable risk. He agreed to take on the job knowing it would be his loss, for the sake of his family. When we made our promise, he looked me directly in the eyes and said, "Can I really trust you?" I didn't answer, but I just nodded. I never intended that nod to be a lie, but...
What happened?
That night, he broke into the manager's office as we planned, got the safe open and took out the contents. Then, from the darkened room, he shone the signal, but no matter how many times he repeated it, nobody sent him the response he was expecting.
Why not? Why didn't you send in the cavalry like planned?
Because I wasn't there.
What?
That night, while I was at the designated spot, Speck handed me a single note. The message was clear. It said that my wife's condition had worsened and that I should go to the hospital at once. Naturally, I went, leaving Speck to preside over the scene. So to summarize, I fled to see my wife while Gregory was still inside doing the job. Gregory must have thought that I was dutifully waiting in position outside the hotel. After he'd signaled me, he simply had to wait for the reinforcements to arrive. But I'd already departed to be by my beloved's side. Speck's plan had been a complete success.
Speck's plan?
Yes, it was his intention to lure me away from the scene that night. No sooner had I reached the hospital than it became clear and I hurried back. Speck maintained that he'd been given the notes but not known what the contents were. He also said that he had seen nothing like a signal from the manager's office.
So he spun a web of lies that had you convinced?
He did. He was a member of the force and I had no reason to disbelieve him. It was only later that I learned the truth behind the night's events. Please, Mr. Hyde, are you able to forgive me? If only I'd known that Speck was working with Condor all those years ago, I would have never left him in charge of the scene, and maybe your father would still be alive today.
And that's everything, is it?
It is. That's the truth behind the death of the safecracker 25 years ago. Don't you have anything to say?
Now that you ask, I'm not sure I do. Funny as it may sound, I don't blame you for what happened. In fact, all I can think about right now is how you must have felt during those final moments.
Of course. Tell me one thing, Mr. Hyde. When did you find out that your father died in this very apartment?
I only found out a little while ago, and it was written in Michael's diary.
What? You mean to say you found his diary?
Yeah, I found it alright. You're not gonna like the fact that there's nothing related to you Speck in there, though.
Oh, I see. While we're on the subject, you said you had a discussion with Michael's son. Just to put my mind at ease, could you please let me know?
Sorry to disappoint you, but he didn't tell me anything that you'd find useful.
I see. Nevertheless, I'd very much like the opportunity to talk to him myself.
That's gonna be tough. He left not long after I spoke to him.
He left? Are you telling me he lived here in this building?
He sure did. He was in room 306.
You mean that man... I had no idea.
Don't take it so hard. I'll find you the proof you need to nail Speck.
Mr. Hyde?
In fact, I intend to expose everything these apartments have been hiding. And once I'm done, the only mystery left will be where I'll get my coffee from now on. All you'll need to do is keep your nose out and wait for me to get it done.
Why, you arrogant little...
Just trying to keep you out of the line of fire. Leave the dangerous stuff to me.
Well, I suppose you've proven yourself useful. I'll back down for now, but please take this with you.
It's the other half of the torn postcard I got from Will.
This item represents the only clue I found while searching on the 4th floor. Take it with you, it might help. I take it you're still eager to hear what Mrs. Patrice has to say.
Damn right I am. There's plenty of things I have to ask that lady. But she won't be too excited to talk to me, will she?
And leave that part to me. I'll make sure she understands you're not in league with Niall. If it all goes according to plan, there's every chance she'll emerge from her room.
Okay, I'll leave that to you.
Good luck, Mr. Hyde.
Just one last thing, Frank.
What is it?
What kind of a man was my dad?
We had a drink together once. I remember thinking to myself at the time that he was a lot tougher than he looked. Never had much to say, but what he did say, he said with utmost poignancy. He told me about this kid wanting to be a baseball star when he grew up. In fact, he was telling me this, he came across as a run-of-the-mill kind of... When he was telling me this, he came across as a run-of-the-mill kind of guy.
I see. Okay, I need to make a move. I'm wasting time. I'll leave Frank's room. Oh boy. Even though I know the truth behind what happened to Dad, that's not everything. The postcard that Michael left behind, the Condor key, the disappearance of the Scarlet Star, and proof of Hugh Speck's wrongdoing. There are obviously still secrets that people could get hurt over. Just how much does Max know about them, though? Alright. Let's go talk to Mags. Yeah, whoops, wrong floor.
Who is it?
We need to talk, Mrs. Patrice.
Mr. Hyde, I'm on the phone with Mr. Aver at the moment. What do you need to talk to me about?
About Michael McGrath and the diary he left behind.
I see. Very well. Please come in.
Mrs. Patrice?
Yes, what is it?
I never thought you could do something so underhanded.
I could say the same of you, Mr. Hyde.
Why? Why'd you do such a thing? I thought you'd have realized by now I'm not working for Niall.
Then explain to me why you were poking around the 4th floor and why you took my key.
How'd you even know I'd taken it?
Because I cannot think of anybody else who would have done so, that's why. You have to admit, you've been asking me very probing questions of late. Also, you seem to have taken to roaming about this building instead of going to work. Dylan was also kind enough to warn me about you. He told me I should be extra vigilant when you're around.
Oh, he did he? How nice of him.
Did you find that amusing?
I never thought you'd be so dumb as to trust anything that comes out of his mouth. Guess you didn't know, huh? Dylan's been watching you on behalf of his employer, Niall.
Excuse me?
And not just you either. He was also watching over another tenant whose relatives work for Condor.
A relative of people working for Condor? I had no idea there was someone like that living here. Who is it?
Well, if you haven't got any interest in rocking the boat with Condor, it's probably better if you remain in the dark about who they are. Dylan left without causing any fuss because you were unaware of his true identity.
It's a very good point. But there's still something I don't understand.
Yeah, and what might that be?
You, Mr. Hyde. I still have no idea about you. Exactly how do you figure in all this?
Me? Well, 25 years ago, a safecracker was killed here in the manager's office. He was my father.
I beg your pardon?
Like I told you before, my dad was killed when I was 9 years old. 25 years ago, he had to go out on one last job before getting straight. 3 days later, his body was picked up in a downtown parking lot, and the case remains unsolved. He got caught up in a police investigation to uncover Condor's secret fencing operation at Hotel Cape West, and it was there that he was killed. I only found out all this after you gave everyone the eviction notice.
And how exactly did you come to know all this?
I got my information from a person connected to Condor who lives in this building. They told me that my dad came in here to steal the Scarlet Star, but he was killed and the gem simply disappeared.
The Scarlet Star?
After I found that out, I made my decision. It would expose everything about this building's hidden past.
So that's the reason you came in here and searched around, I suppose.
Right. Why'd you buy a building that was marked by Condor? And then why'd you suddenly decide to sell up? These are things I need answers for. Tell me everything you know. Just how much do you know about Condor?
I've got no interest in talking about such things. Please don't ask me anymore. Fuck.
Listen, Mrs. Patrice, you can't just ignore this. I'm gonna get an answer from you. Why are you so afraid to explain these things to me? Is it because your husband was Condor's ringleader?
Yes, that's precisely the reason. After he injured his hands, he couldn't play the saxophone anymore. He changed. He got his first job from them courtesy of a customer who came to the restaurant. After it went well, he began to realize that he was in too deep to turn back. Before too long, he was the ringleader of the criminal organization known as Condor. He eventually roped an old friend, the hotel manager Michael, into his work too. They devised a means of selling the stolen jewelry secretly to avoid detection.
Who killed Kathy McGrath 13 years ago? Even if you're not going to talk, you're definitely going to listen. The person who murdered Kathy McGrath was George Patrice.
I'm afraid that's right. It was George who killed her.
But why did he do it?
He told me why. It was payback for Michael's double-crossing him.
How did Michael and George manage to sell the jewelry secretly?
George didn't keep the stolen goods himself, but he entrusted them to Michael. Michael stored them in the safe inside the manager's office. Once a buyer had been found, George would get in touch with Michael, and cash would be exchanged from the jeweler when the buyer came to the hotel. George would then take receipt of the cash immediately and receive his cut.
So the purpose of the parties held at the hotel was... were held to find people to buy the jewelry?
Exactly.
I thought about that for a long time. I was pretty sure that was the case, since a few chapters ago.
Parties would be held from time to time at the hotel. There, potential buyers would gather and the process would begin in earnest.
So I imagine the actual goods were exchanged in one of the guest rooms, right?
No, Michael was very clear about that and would never use the guest rooms. Instead, there was a hidden chamber for this very purpose.
What did Michael do to double-cross George?
No sooner had George received word that the hotel safe was going to be broken into than he contacted Michael to let him know. At that time, there was still an item inside that a buyer had not been found for. It was the Scarlet Star. Michael received his orders, and when the intruder arrived, he shut him there in the office. He then stashed the corpse in the hotel chest freezer where it stayed for 2 days. Then it was taken out and dumped at a different location when it was safe. After the incident was over, Michael told me that the Scarlet Star was gone. According to what he told me, it had already been removed from the safe before he shot the safecracker.
And George believed that?
Not exactly. He just let Michael to believe he trusted him. led him to believe. He didn't want to pressure Michael or he might risk losing the use of the hotel. George could be a cold, calculating man. He didn't exact his revenge on Michael for another 12 years. So the reason he chose to wait 12 years before getting his revenge was because Michael wanted out of the stolen goods trade? Yes, that's right. Michael made the decision to close down the hotel 13 years ago. It was his attempt to sever the bond between himself and Condor. However, George wasn't willing to just sit back and accept this. Also, was there another reason for him to dispose of Kathy? Yes, it was because he had grown tired of Kathy's company. Meaning? George and Kathy had been intimate, an act which had betrayed both of us. Where is the hidden chamber that was used to sell the stolen goods? That's something I'm totally unable to help you with. Even when the building was undergoing renovation, no such room was found. I see. Listen carefully, Mr. Hyde. The key that you took from here, I'm sure it's for that very room. What? That key was among the things George bequeathed to me after his death. Even though I had it all these years, I still don't know where it's to be used. I assume that your main focus now is to discover where that hidden chamber lies, correct? Absolutely. It can't have just disappeared from the building. I wonder if you're right. I think we've covered just about everything, Mr. Hyde. Not so fast, there's still a few holes left. I don't know if I can discuss everything in one go. It's not as easy as you might think at my age, you know? But if you insist, if you are willing to indulge me, I may be willing to keep talking. What do I need to do? Do you agree to my terms? I guess I don't have much of a choice, do I? But the stakes are, I do what you ask and you tell me every last thing I want to know. Naturally. Okay, now tell me what I need to do. Well, Mr. Hyde, even though I own this building, there's still something I have yet to find. I want you to find it for me. Care to be a bit more specific? Come on, Mr. Hyde, I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. Fine, have it your way. Suppose I should give you a hint to go with. Here, take this. His photo. It's a photo of Hotel Cape West from when it was first opened. You should have this as well. What's this? It was one of the things George left behind. Finally, there's this. I found it in George's things together with the key. It appears to some sort of sketch of the 4th floor. If you look, it has 6 red circles marked on it. What could that mean? There's something written on the corner in the sketch. The far side of the moon. What's that supposed to mean? Mr. Hyde, how you use those things is entirely up to you. Yeah, I kind of figured that part out myself. Leave it to me, I'll find what you're after. And I'll be back to hear the rest of what you've got me to tell me too. Mr. Hyde? Alright. The thing that Max was never able to find must be that hidden chamber. Looks like I'm drawing closer to what I've been looking for. The clues are in the sketch, the photo and the key. Now think about it, this isn't the only photo of the hotel I have. Maybe I should compare them side by side. Oh, there's a porthole missing. That's it, I've got it. There's a window that's missing from the newer photo. I'm positive the hidden chamber is between the elevator and room 405. But how the hell am I gonna get to it? There have to be more clues up on the 4th floor. Alright.
Alright. Far side of the moon. Right, there was one in here. Fuck, I really game. Have to unlock all of these first. Christ. Fine. We've been in here before, right? This dress is in desperate need of some attention from a feather duster. Here's a small condor marker engraved on the dresser. Considering the way it looks, it might have something to do with the markers on the 4th floor sketch. Better scribble this down. Guess I'd better have a look at the other rooms. Like 4-3 also had something in it, right? I think all of the rooms did. Fucking... This chair is dirtier in some places than others, not that any of it is clean. Here's a wooden chair. The leather covering's gotten pretty tattered and worn. There's a small condor mark engraved on the side. Huh? What's this? This condor's head is turned in a different direction. There's no odd-looking closet at the back of the room. There's nothing inside. Except for this. There's a small condor mark engraved on the inside of the closet door. Hold on again. Okay.
one last room. There's a huge bed on this side of the room. The mattress could really do with being turned. The headboard has a small engraving. Right. Now the hallway. No, wrong button. The window is encrusted with dust. There's a small condor mark engraved into the window frame. From the looks of my notes, all the condor marks are pointing in different directions. Okay, looks like I got all the circle marks that were indicated on the sketch. Now to try out and figure out what the 6 condors mean. And also to try and work out what the note on the sketch was for. I have put the 2 parts of the postcard together. Postcard with a picture of the moon on it, huh? There's something written on the back. Looks like some sort of code. All I'll need to do is find out what Michael was trying to hide using this. So you let me look at that again. I mean, I'm sure the condors give me like what I need to do. Okay, elevator buttons, I see. Let me mark these down somewhere else real quick. 3, 9, 5, 1Q, 7, 3R, 6, 8, 2. I don't get this at all. What is it supposed to mean? Some of these symbols, I cannot help but think I've seen them somewhere before. Yeah, the elevator. Get that much, but let me also mark down the condor things on my paper here, so I have it side by side and don't need to head into this fucking notebook all the time. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, got the directions copied. Good. The moment of truth. Time to use this key.
As soon as I do, something from behind the cover falls to the ground. What the? The buttons come off. Hope it was designed to do that. Can I pick the button off? There's a tiny switch in the place where the button came off. What's this? It looks like some sort of control switch. Okay. Right, so I assume that the direction in which the condor marks were thinged tell me what I need to press first. And now the elevator code had like triangles, but also in opposite directions, like tilted, so I don't understand what those mean. I guess I just press V first, maybe? And then 1, since there's a Q, that doesn't make any sense. And then R, maybe? Set it to 3? I don't know. And then, what is it? Downwards. I don't have a 6th floor, so open, I guess. Then 5th is A2. And then 7th is, we don't have a 7th, don't have a 7th. Okay, cool. That wasn't too hard. And the elevator starts to move. Wait, it stopped. Where is this? Looking at the dial, it seems I've stopped between the 4th floor and the roof. But why is it stopped here? What was that noise? What was that noise? I press the button, but nothing happens. Is this thing broken? No, it isn't. There's an L-shaped bench in the corner of the elevator. A small hatch has opened up to the side of it. Well, that's gonna be probably the condor key, right? Or it looks like the small key. This key is small, perfectly formed, and designed for a different lock. Okay, that's gonna be the condor key. Place the condor key into the keyhole. It worked. I lift up the side panel of the bench. What's this? Looks like a hidden entrance of some sort. Man, that's cramped. Looks like he goes in quite a way. Nothing for it but to go in. Wow, this is fucking elaborate. Alright, found it. Imagine having to crawl through that thing and press the fucking elevator combination and all of that every time you wanted to get in there. Christ. There's no mistaking it. This must be the place. This is where Condor sold their stolen jewelry. And the bulbs still burn, even after like 25 years. Right, time to look around. Or 13 years or whatever. A load of papers are scattered about on the desk. There's a kind of ledger on the top of the table. What could this have been used for? Let's see. First page of the ledger shows dates, transactions, and code words. Gold, silver, and scarlet. Looks like I've struck the mother lode here. It's an item-by-item list of jewel sales. Some sheets of writing paper have been left here. Damn, the handwriting is too smudged to read. It's an inkwell. It won't open, and the ink must have hardened. I'm not gonna try typing on this thing, dust will fly everywhere. It's been a really long time since this was last used. There's no old-fashioned telephone on the desk. No cord though. Guess I won't be making any long-distance calls. Inside the drawer is an old brown envelope. There's something inside. What's this? Out of the envelope comes a small metal badge. At a closer glance, it appears to bear the words Los Angeles Police. It's an LAPD badge. Why the hell would something like this be hidden here? Hugh spec, I guess. There's something else in the envelope. Out of the envelope comes an old photo. The photo shows 3 men. As I stare at the photo, I realize that I recognize the man wearing a hat on the right. Saw another photo of him before in Max's room. It's him. It's Gregory, George Patrice. It's Gregory. On the left half side of the photo, there's a man wearing a tuxedo. He's got a name tag pinned on his chest. That tag. Written plainly underneath the hotel's emblem next to the word manager is the name Michael McGrath. I see. So this is Michael McGrath. There's a worried-looking man in the center who George has his arm around. Who is that man? I stare at the man in the photo. Suddenly, there's a flash of realization and I know who he is. I recall where I saw him before. He was featured in that TV show. I'll be damned. It's a young Hugh Speck. This photo shows just how Hugh Speck and Condor are connected. Now I think I know the meaning behind the police badge too. It's for collateral, and as a sign of his devotion to the cause. Right. Cool. So we got pretty much all the evidence we could ever want. It's a framed picture of the classic card designs for the Aces. Looks really old. Oh, look at this. Can't play darts? Fuck. There's a frame painting on the wall. The painting is of a ship traversing the waves while a lighthouse guides the way. Boat and a lighthouse. There's a lamp on the wall just above the painting. Is that a switch below the frame? Switch it on. Wow. Damn, that's bright. What's the story with this? Yeah. It's a framed picture of the classic card designs for the Aces. Interesting. A shadow of Condor has appeared underneath the cards. There's the shadowy outline of a condor on the wall. What's up with this shadow? The beak of the condor is pointing at a card. What could they be trying to say? Red diamonds. 3 hands of cards are sitting face down on the table. They look like they've been left mid-game, for quite a while too, judging from the dust. Poker chips are piled up in a few places on the table. Some wooden boxes with text stamped on them are piled up next to the sofa. They're nailed shut. I didn't see any cards or anything like that recently. guess we're done in here. A picture containing a working lighthouse. There's only one place I know in this apartment that's got a lighthouse. The roof. This is it. Time to get myself up there. Yep. Saw that one coming. Huh. The light's on the lighthouse. What elaborate stuff. There's a shadow being cast on the brick wall thanks to the light from the lighthouse. The condor shadow's beak is stretching across the bricks. The surface of the brickwork is slightly dirty. Strange, this brick looks newer than the others. I've got it. This is it. The Scarlet Star. I finally got my hands on the Scarlet Star. The coldness of the beautifully shining jewel spreads through my hand. Item, locate the Scarlet Star, which disappeared at Hotel Cape West 25 years ago. So this is the thing you've been searching for, is it, Will McGrath? And with it comes the truth of what happened all those years ago. My dad made a promise with Frank to enable him to leave his shady past behind. He snuck into the manager's office, cracked open the safe, and stole the Scarlet Star. He was then supposed to go to the window and signal Frank using his flashlight. But the response to the signal never came. Then Michael McGrath arrived on the scene, and he shot and killed my dad. Maybe when he died, he was clutching this very thing in his hands. My grip on the Scarlet Star tightens as I think of my dad's dying moments. The jewel gradually starts to grow warmer in my hand. Feels as though the stone is transcending the 25 years since it was held by him, bringing us together again. As I dwell on this, I feel a warm, melting kind of sensation from it. Looks like I'll be fulfilling the requirements of that order after all. Time to give this to the one person who bears responsibility for Keithley's death. Huh? The elevator opens and somebody emerges. Is that Mags? Oh? Mr. Hyde, I assume I have you to blame for switching the lighthouse on, do I? Yeah, I did it alright. Then I must also assume that you entered that room. What? Just how did you know that there was a switch inside the room in the first place? What happened to you not even knowing where that place was? I apologize, but I lied. Naturally, I was aware of what that room contains too. If you knew about the hidden chamber, why did you need to lie? Let's just say I had no intention of discussing my knowledge of that room with anybody. I breathed a sigh of relief when I decided to sell off the building, safe in the knowledge that the secret will disappear once the building is demolished. I suppose, looking back, I was hoping for a little too much. I never imagined you'd take to snooping around and looking into the building's past.
Then Mr. Hyde, when he came round looking for information, I thought to myself, I can't keep hiding it if he's found out this much. So I had to decide. On the one hand, I could leave while everything was still shrouded in secrecy, or I could risk letting everything come to light. It was essentially a gamble.
What do you mean, a gamble?
A gamble to see if you'd be able to find that room or not.
So you gambled everything on me and whether I'd find it?
Precisely. And it seems it ended just as I expected.
What were you trying to hide?
The crimes that he committed, of course. His time as Condor's ringleader, the stolen jewelry and illegal sales, not to mention keeping it all under the LAPD's radar, despite one of them being involved. And lastly, the unfortunate killing of Kathy. The crimes committed by George here in this very building, they needed to be kept hidden, all of them. And I intended to do just that. I was planning to take these truths with me to the grave. But as we can both see, that proved futile.
How did you think it would end?
I was fully aware that there was little hope I'd keep everything secret. I knew that if anyone who could find that room, it would be you.
So you appreciated what was at stake should you lose your gamble?
Yes, but as soon as we started talking about the secret room, my mind was made up. If you found the room, I would lose my gamble, and then I'd need to let you in on everything I knew. If you failed, however, then I wouldn't need to talk to you on the subject any further. Then my gamble would have paid off.
What made you think I'd find it?
I knew it would take a focused individual, and you more than fitted that description. I could see it in your eyes.
Damn right I'm focused. You don't think I waste my time looking around this place without good reason, do you?
No, of course not. I was truly surprised when you came to me and told me what you knew about 25 years ago. The fact that the safecracker Michael shot turned out to be your father. I doubt anybody could have anticipated that one.
Yeah, what are the odds, huh?
Maybe I knew, Mr. Hyde. Even as you arrived at my room today, I knew what was going to happen. Somewhere deep down, I must have realized that you would uncover the whole thing. Tell me something, Mr. Hyde. Have you found everything you were looking for?
Yeah, I think I have. Michael's 13-year-old diary, the proof that connects to the LAPD and Condor, even the Scarlet Star. I've uncovered them all.
You found the Scarlet Star?
Certainly did. Michael McGrath left some helpful clues behind. They led me to the hidden chamber and helped me get it. I have it now.
Is that so?
Here, take a look.
So this is the Scarlet Star.
Sure is. Your late husband didn't take the disappearance of it lightly and kill Kathy as a result.
The Scarlet Star going missing was where this whole horrible ordeal began.
Not quite. Condor's theft of the Scarlet Star in the first place is where it really started. If George Patrice were still alive, I'd be showing the thing to him. And we'd be having a very frank chat about his crimes.
I'm sure you would, but as he's no longer with us, that will never happen.
True. The same with Michael.
You can have this back now, Mr. Hyde.
What?
I was only concerned with keeping it hidden, not keeping it for myself. Since you found it, you've earned the right to keep it. In fact, everything you found is as good as yours, the room and all its contents. Which, by extension, means that disposing of it is also falls to you.
And you're sure about this?
I am.
I understand.
Okay then, I suppose it's time for me to tell you everything. Will you listen to what I have to say, Mr. Hyde? All of it? Will you let me tell you about my foolishness in loving an evil man? Nah, we're done. I first met him when I was 19 years old. I was a dancer back then, and he was a part of a band. I knew from the start that he was a bad person. He brought a different woman with him each time, and he used to keep dubious company. Despite all this, I fell for him. But as soon as we began to live together, something became very apparent to me. I knew that I'd need to get used to dealing with times I loved him and times I detested him. The stranger thing was that the more I became accustomed to the jealousy I felt, the more my desire towards him grew. It was a very strange position to be in. When he started dipping his feet into the world of crime, I began thinking that I needed to know everything he was involved in. So, yes, before you say it, by keeping his wrongdoing secret, I became an accomplice. The feeling of guilt that arose from all his crimes was what chained us together. But inevitably, that wasn't a strong enough bond to keep our marriage alive. He became more and more distant from me, and his feelings faded. Until finally, I could see there was no hope for a future together. Eventually, he and Kathy went on to betray me and Michael. Despite having full knowledge of their intimacy, there was no fuss made. I was perfectly content to just sit back and watch, now that my feelings have subsided. But after Kathy was murdered, and I saw the haunting smile that appeared on his face as he told me that I was going to have to keep one more secret, I finally started to realize that I made a grave mistake. I was partly responsible for the man he'd become. He came to me in a flash. I was the one person who'd be able to put an end to this misdeeds once and for all. And so, on that day, I planned to shoot him using his own gun. But as it turned out, I wasn't to become a murderer that night after all. Somebody else had crept in, pointed a gun and shot George instead. It was none other than his friend, Michael. When the deed was done, he looked me in the eye before striking me down with the gun. I woke up after being out cold. The first thing I noticed was that the gun that shot George was grasped in my right hand, with the now lifeless body of my husband laid before me. He had died with the most atrocious look of pain across his face. One thing went through my mind as I stared at his dead eyes. Enough. He had gotten nothing short of what he deserved from the crimes he committed. I made one final promise to his agonized face then. I vowed that I would keep his secrets even after his death, and not to tell a soul. I intended to keep those secrets with me into the next life, but... From then on, I felt very much like a ship lost at sea, with no lighthouse to guide me home. I drifted aimlessly in the darkness, tossed endlessly by the waves. You know what happened after that. I was arrested and held on suspicion of murder. I eventually faced a grueling trial. Despite my predicament, I remained silent and told the police and lawyers nothing. You know why I chose not to reveal the truth, Mr. Hyde? Well, I'll tell you. I wanted them to find me guilty, that's why. Felt it was only fitting. After all, I was fully intent on extinguishing George's life myself that night. But it seems that greater powers than my own were at work then. Somehow, the court found me innocent of the crime, and the money I inherited from George enabled me to buy the hotel. Part of the reason I snapped this place up was to maintain the secrecy, but I also felt that if I left here, the lighthouse would be my guide and help me traverse the waves and survive the darkness. Looking back, maybe I was just clinging on to my foolish ideals, but the fact remains I failed in my attempt to keep what I did secret. And that brings us right back to here and now, where I'm telling you everything. And that's the end, Mr. Hyde. There is no more. I expect you're overwhelmed with anger at this foolish woman's confession, am I right? I really wish I hadn't needed to tell anybody what I've told you.
You're kidding, right?
I beg your pardon?
Surely you've been wanting to offload this entire thing to somebody for years. I mean, keeping all this pen up for so long and all. You must have been dying to tell anybody who'd listen.
Mr. Hyde, I admit, you're right. I've been languishing in my guilt for what seems like an eternity. I just couldn't see it through to the end. I know I made the decision by myself, but I just wanted to put my love for another ahead of my own feelings. I never thought doing so could lead to this much turmoil. It's true, I've been feeling like this for quite some time now. I desperately wanted someone I could sit down and talk to. It's been so horrible.
As I stare at Max crying her eyes out, I think to myself, there must be so many people around the world forced to keep burdens on their own. One thing's for sure, I'm one of them. Knowing the truth behind my dad's death and uncovering the hidden deeds behind it still doesn't go far to erase the unbearable things I have going around my mind. I understand the pain she's feeling, I really do. Now she's in front of me in tears after telling me everything, after spending all that time keeping an unbearable truth to herself. The more she cries, the easier the burden will become, though it'll never truly disappear. Suppose the least I can do is wait quietly here until she's done crying. Mrs. Patrice, if you stay here much longer, you're gonna catch your death. Here, I'll help you up.
Thank you, but I'm fine, Mr. Hyde. I can stand on my own. I've never needed anybody's help, and I have no intention of changing that now.
Max stands up, and I notice that there are no longer any tears in her eyes. Her eyes are now fixed on the light bursting forth from the lighthouse. We just stand and stare. Silently, we gaze up at the lighthouse. Soon we'll be leaving this lighthouse behind forever.
Now wait. Soon we'll be leaving this lighthouse behind forever. I wonder if I will be okay without it to guide me through the darkness.
Max continues to mutter things to herself. I'm unable to respond. I just continue staring up at the lighthouse without saying a word. Even though Max has left the roof, I'm still standing around here. I don't feel like dragging myself back to my room. I decide to take one last trip to the 4th floor. Enter room 406 and open the curtains. Brush aside the dust that's covering the window and peer outside. Through the dirty window, I observe the scene beyond. It's a cold, damp view I'm so accustomed to seeing, the picturesque city at night. I never thought I'd see the last view my dad ever laid eyes upon. But of course, what my dad saw must have been slightly different. 25 years have passed since my dad was killed. I'm now at the age he was then, standing in the same room and looking at the same window. What did he see when he stared out through it? What was he expecting to see? I may have uncovered what happened then, but I'll never know what he was thinking. There's one thing I know for certain though. He was standing by this window because he made a choice. A choice which was made with me and Mom in mind. I closed the curtains and let the memory of my dad rest at last. It's my phone again. I reach out from beneath the covers of my bed and make a move to grab the receiver. Hello?
Morning, Kyle.
Hey.
I got a call from Ed last night. He told me everything. Seems you've been keeping things from me.
He what? It's not like that. I wasn't keeping anything from you.
Then why didn't you just tell me yourself? I mean, Ed going to the hospital is pretty serious and all.
Oh, right, that.
What else would it be? Is there something else you're not telling me?
No, of course not. I don't feel it's the right time to let Mom know about the truth behind Dad's death. I guess I can put it off. I can't put it off forever, though.
Ed told me something nice too, though. He said you're not the good-for-nothing you used to be.
What's that supposed to mean?
Relax, it's just his way of paying you a compliment. Besides, I was really happy to hear him say it.
Listen, Mom.
Yes?
You remember the chat we had a couple of days ago? The one about why you and Dad were together?
Yes, I remember.
Well, I've been doing some thinking since then about that. If I can put his crimes into the past, I'd like to come and visit you. Maybe then you could tell me some more about him.
I'd be happy to, Kyle.
Turn on the tap, splash some water on my face, and throw in some clothes. Time to give Rachel a call.
Red Crown, how may I help you?
It's me.
Morning, handsome.
I'm done with that order.
You mean you found the item?
Yeah, that, and the truth from 25 years ago.
Should I pass you over to Ed?
No need. I'll probably come into the office later anyway. Let's give Ed a heads up first, though.
Will do.
So, guess I'll see you then.
I'll be waiting, Kyle.
Before I do anything else, I better fill Frank in on what happened yesterday. I had to room 302.
Wow, I don't even need to go there myself anymore.
Thanks, game.
Mr. Hyde.
Hi, Frank.
What did you find out in the end? Did you manage to uncover anything significant?
Yeah, you could say that. That's why I'm here, actually.
Please tell me what you know.
I gained access to a hidden chamber Condor used for their secret sales.
A hidden chamber?
That's what I said. Seems there's been a secret room here ever since the place was a hotel. Wasn't easy to find, though. The only way to get in was via a secret hatch in the elevator.
I'm stunned. So you actually entered this chamber?
Damn right I did. Not just that, I found some pretty interesting things in there. It should be just what you've been looking for.
What?
Here.
Mr. Hyde, could this be...
It's a ledger containing all the details of the jewel sales that Condor made. I believe this pretty much covers what you've been trying to find, am I right?
And these?
What you have there is a picture showing Hugh Speck together with Condor and an LAPD police badge. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this should provide you with enough evidence to nail Speck.
Mr. Hyde, I thank you.
What's wrong?
I'm sorry. Please understand how emotional this is for me. I've hoped for this day for such a long time now. It's been quite a wait. Mr. Hyde, thanks for your efforts, I now have all the proof I need to take that man down. The rest you can safely leave to me.
Break a leg. Just one thing though, Frank.
And what is it?
Once you've blown the whistle on Speck, what will you do next? Where are you gonna go after this?
What? Worried that this old man might have nowhere to go? Please don't trouble yourself with such worries. I've got no wish to throw myself into the care of my children. In fact, after Hugh Speck's wrongdoing has been exposed to the world, I intend to move to Idaho and live out my days there.
Idaho?
Yes. A colleague of mine from the force has a farm there. He's been telling me for years to come down and visit. It's about time I took him up on it.
Sounds like you're all set. Let's make a deal then. I give you the proof you've been after, and you promise to send me some of the potatoes you're gonna grow down there.
Deal. I'll be sure to send some your way. Now I must be going.
Frank returns to his room. That ties that one up. Now I better think about visiting an estate agency before heading to the office.
Oh boy.
Who else is around? I mean, I can go and talk to everyone, really. I don't know what's in 301, 304, let's check. I doubt anyone's gonna be here. Of course not. 303 is vacant.
Good morning, Mr. Hyde.
When are you leaving this place, Charles?
I'll be going on the 29th.
I see. Do you have any plans to go back to France?
Not yet.
What?
I want to stay here in LA and study some more. I'm going to try and convince my grandfather to let me stay for one more year.
You think you can get him on board?
Well, if I can, I intend to work and pay my own tuition fees. No more allowances from him.
Sounds like a plan. Doesn't sound like it's gonna be easy, but knowing you, you'll find a way.
I hope so. Anyway, see you later.
Charles goes back inside his room. He's not gonna be here, but whatever. Yep. There's no answer. It looks like Marie's kept her part of the bargain and headed to the station. Yep, was hoping that would be the case. There's no answer. Looks like Betty's not at home. Wait, no. No need to go in my fucking room. Tony!
Who is there?
It's me, Kyle.
Oh, Hyde. Sorry, man, but I'm about to go out.
I see. Okay.
Mr. Hyde?
Huh?
Oh,
Wrong voice.
good morning, Mr. Hyde.
What's up? You seem chirpier than usual, if that's possible.
Can you guess?
Come on, tell me what's up.
My mom's here. She's chatting with Dad right now.
Is that so?
Yes, and what's more, they seem to be getting along really well. I don't want to jinx it, but this could be their second chance.
Well, let's hope you're locked in.
I've got you to thank for this, Mr. Hyde.
Me? What did I do?
Well, you and Dad talked about it, didn't you? You told him few families actually manage to get back together, and that there are lots that really want to but simply can't.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of thing I'd say.
Claire? Dad? Well, hey there, Mr. Hyde.
Hi, Sydney.
Dad, where's Mom? It's no use, Claire. I don't think I can handle it on my own. I run out of things to say when it's just the two of us. Dad, Mom's not expecting the world, you know? Just be yourself. But Claire, just take it slowly and try not to get flustered. Don't try to rush through it. Enjoy the time you have together. Claire... Anyway, I've got to get back to the cafe. You better think about heading back too, unless you want to keep Mom waiting. Yeah, fair enough. See you later, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, bye. Claire walks back into the cafe.
This whole thing isn't as easy as it looks.
Sydney, I think you better do what Claire says. After all, these things take time.
I suppose you're right. I'll give it my best shot. Dad! Guess that's my cue. Speak to you later, Mr. Hyde.
Sydney heads back to the cafe.
Can I go into the cafe? Yo, Hyde.
Huh?
Word up, Home Slice.
What's up with you? Carrying your guitar around with you at this time in the morning?
Got me a job.
No kidding, a job?
It's okay, Hyde. You don't have to get so emotional. I've got a gig. Venue's a bit small, but they picked up my act after hearing my song on the radio. Been singing, sign up to play from today for a whole week, you know?
That's great, man. Good for you.
There's just one tiny little hitch. They want me to play them something totally new on the last day. Which is cool and all, but I don't have any new material. Been going over it in my head, but I'm coming out with zilch.
Cut the crap. Stop worrying about it and just do it.
What?
Pretty sure that if you put your mind to it, you can write something new. You know that tough... you know how tough life can get. You've got a nice girl. You've even been knocked out. Surely you've got no end of subject matter to work with.
You know what? You're right. Guess I better give it a shot.
How are you feeling after last night anyway?
A lot better now. New sleep spray's gonna keep me down. How about you? How'd the treasure hunt go?
Treasure hunt? I'm finished with that now.
Yeah, you're done?
Turns out the information wasn't entirely truthful.
What do you mean?
It was all devised by some shady types to get us to play their game.
So we were taken out by those same shady characters?
Right, and that's why I decided to get out while I still could. Better not to pry on it.
Damn, that's some serious stuff. So I guess all our dreams about becoming stinking rich have gone up in smoke, huh?
Guess they have.
Oh yeah, hi. I'm gonna be recording my demo tape tomorrow.
So you've got yourself a studio?
Sure did. That $1,000 you gave me was plenty to set up a real sweet place.
Glad to hear it.
You and me both. And once I got my sound recorded on a demo tape, the sky's the limit.
One step closer to your dream, I suppose.
I just want you to know, as soon as I got the cash, I'm gonna pay you back. Every lost penny.
Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Cut me some slack, man. I'm being serious here. Whoa. Hello, Mr. Wolf. Long time no see. I trust you're well. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Your time is perfect, actually. I was hoping to ask you something. What is it? Regarding your rent. I was just curious to hear when you'll be settling the total amount you still owe me. I'm sorry about that, but it's cool, because I'm gonna pay it all off soon. I got some work that's gonna be bringing in the cash. So don't you worry, you'll get your rent soon enough. I see. You seem quite confident about it. I'm prepared to take you at your word. Please come and see me once you're in position to settle your debt.
Thanks, Mr. Patrice. Hey, Tony, aren't you supposed to be somewhere?
Damn, you're right. I got a split. Wish me luck. He's somewhat different from before, wouldn't you say?
He is.
He managed to look me in the eye and tell me straight, much more confident. I feel a lot more inclined to believe what he says when his attitude is like that. I wonder what brought on this sudden change.
You're not so different yourself, you know.
What?
Well, like you, he's been weighed under by problems and couldn't get any help. Now he's overcome that, and you've seen the results.
I see your point.
Mrs. Patrice, what are you gonna do with yourself after you leave this place?
I must confess I haven't really given the matter much thought, but now you mention it, maybe it's about time I did. Part of me just wants to get out of here, maybe on a cruise, somewhere with a lighthouse to guide us at night. What do you think, Mr. Hyde? Maybe you'd care to join me?
I think I'll give it a miss. I'm not really one for long drawn-out cruises.
I see. Well, that's probably for the best. Especially seeing as you have more pressing matters to attend to.
Meaning?
Well, like finding a new place to live for one. It's only you and Mr. Wolf who are yet to decide on a place.
Maybe it is time I gotta move on.
I'd really appreciate it if you did. There's still a lot on my plate to take care of, without having you to worry about. Though I'm sure you appreciate that more than the others would.
Yeah.
Anyway, I must be going, Mr. Hyde.
Max returns to her room. Okay then. Time for me to head out too. My pager. Take it easy, what's the hurry? I'll be there as soon as I can, Rachel. Well, that's it. Christ almighty, am I hungry. Right. Time to head to the city and get some grub. Yeah, and all in all, this was pretty good. Especially towards the end, it finally ranked up. The beginning was kind of lackluster to me. Like the first 4 or 5 chapters were kind of eh. But yeah. I don't think I like this as much as I did Hotel Dusk. But that isn't to say that it's bad by any means. It's still very good. It's just, I don't know. there's some kind of difference that I can't really grasp that well that made me like Hotel Dusk better. Perhaps it's just the personalities of the characters involved in Hotel Dusk that I like better. There were more people that I enjoyed or something. I don't know. I think the highlight for me in this was like the whole thing with Sydney and Claire and their family and stuff. I really enjoyed their storyline. It's like a good bunch. It was nice to see a bit more backstory about Kyle, but I don't know. Just felt kind of at odds with it, so I'm not so sure I like the main storyline of the game very much. I don't know. It was still good. I had a good time, and I certainly don't regret playing this by any means, so. Yeah. Apparently there's, like, the team that did this went out of commission, and they, like, developers from the game went on to a different company to make a game that's very similar. At least it seems to have Kyle and Rachel, if you look at the cover photos, but reviews say that it's terrible because it's practically no content at all, so that's a shame. I don't think I'll be checking that out. As for what's going to be going on this stream here from here on out, we are going to switch on over to finishing Pokemons and starting Nier Automata, which I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm very excited to get on with that. So yeah, looking forward to that. As for DS games, after Pokemon, I'm not sure what I'll be doing next. Lady Layton should be coming out sometime this year, and otherwise I might attempt another Layton game entirely. I kind of feel like that might be a good thing to do. I don't know yet. I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later. And yeah, otherwise, just continuing on as usual. Nothing really more to add to that. Yeah. Well, that's it for me then. Another series done. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and thank you for watching if you ever did.